Sorry.
The Green Bay Packers?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I don't even know what I am. The whole family here is Eagles fans.
I always thought you were a Giants fan.
But, like, I've been watching all, like, Eagles, and so, like, I know more about the Eagles, but, like, I'll forever be a Giants fan.
Mm.
And then, like, I'll never admit that I'm an Eagles fan.
Mm.
But I told Aunt Jen that I'm going to become a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to front run their team because they're doing really well. And every time they play a game, they're always having fun, losing or winning.
Okay.
And that's what it is. Miami freaking Dolphins, dude. They're at Miami partying every night. And then they go to practice. That's why they keep losing. They suck. All right, let's run it. Let's start the show, baby. Welcome back to Spotlight, baby.
Why did it look like you were about to pass gas?
I held the ground. I was prepared for liftoff. That was like because I was hearing to the sound. And then whenever I hear sound like that, I stop. However, I'm looking. And then, yeah, that's what I did. I wait till, like, it rang out a little bit more. And then, boom, it came in. Welcome back to Spotlight, guys. Welcome. It's a new year. We're definitely starting late. We're about a month late into the year. But, you know, we went through our shit and we had to get our shit together. So, hey, if you guys are new, make sure you like and subscribe and give us some feedback and comment and interact with us so that we can interact with you guys and you guys can hear what you guys want to hear. Hold on. See, I feel that. Turn it down a bit. I'm here today with the host of the show, Spotlight. You're the host now. That's it.
Okay.
I've deemed you host. I'm just the comedic guy who just shows up here sometimes.
I feel like I've been knighted.
You are the host of Spotlight. Love, how you doing?
I'm doing better.
It's a fucking new year, man.
Yeah.
It's a new year.
It is.
2022. The year of the Scorpio, as I've been reading. Actually, I haven't read anything about Scorpio.
It's Aquarius.
It's the year of the Aquarius?
Yes.
Man, these fake-ass freaking tarot readers and fucking storytellers. This is bullshit. What the fuck? Oh, whatever. Anyways, my name's Dan. Here we are. It was the longest intro of Spotlight you guys will ever hear. We're revamping things up in this joint. We're gonna put things out in a different manner. We're gonna use different sounds. We have some segment ideas for the up and coming podcast. Today, though, we're just here to get some content out, say hi to you guys, and yeah, that's really it, you know?
Mm.
Is that my notebook on the bottom? It looks like my notebook.
This one?
Yeah, the gray one.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, that looked exactly like the one I have.
Mm.
How you doing?
Doing
How's your
good.
year? How's the year? So far. Thus far.
Honestly, it's been chaos.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever like I hear words like chaos, I instantly think of like there's a quote for that. And I was gonna say it, but I don't know it. Yeah, so fuck chaos, but like chaos is so good.
Yeah. It's a catalyst for change.
Right. And I notice when I'm in like stressful situations and I'm at like my worst, that's where I prevail the best. And that's where like I'm the most calm. And I hate it because like I don't want to be in those spots, but like when I'm in those spots, that's when the greatest change happens.
You're good at them too.
It sucks. I hate it. It's a fucking, and then when I'm comfortable, it's like I hate that. It's just such a balancing act of life, and here we are, new year.
Yeah.
So it's 2022. We are, what's today's date? The 20th, the 21st maybe. It's a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We've just been talking. We actually recorded last week. Unfortunately, it was a good episode, I feel like. I mean, it was a good starter episode. our other Coco co-host was there, Jimmy J. JD. He'll pop in every once in a while. He'll be known soon. We recorded the whole thing, and I pressed end. I pressed spacebar on my computer, and the recording just didn't show up. So that's unfortunate. That's happened to me once before. Anyways, right after that, I went to my friend's house right around the corner, got a new hard drive put in, and so I'm excited that I have a nice working fast computer, and yeah, here we are. So don't go out there and buy, if you have a computer, don't go out there and buy a $700 computer. Go buy an SSD for $100 and get somebody to install it or put it in yourself. You'll have a brand new computer. It'll run quick. So that's a W. So that's a good way to start off the year. And also, I'm actually getting a PC after this, mainly because I like gaming and it's a good gaming computer. But also, it's going to bring up some productivity. I can take, when we start doing video, I can start doing video editing there. I want to start streaming more because I used to stream a decent amount. I was streaming music for a while. I was creating cool thumbnails. But it just became a grind, and I kind of just veered off to the left, off the cliff. But I'm wrapping back around. I'm excited for it. So yeah, I'm just excited for 2022. And what about you?
I'm excited for it for a number of reasons. I've been thinking a lot about January of last year and where I was, and that's when I first started in with Limitless Life Tribe.
Yeah.
Which is run by Dr. Chris Lee and Lucas Root. And you can find them pretty much everywhere and anywhere. But it's a
Instagram.
focused coaching group that, although that group specifically seems to be very business oriented, there is also a lot of support for personal growth as well. And there's a lot of amazing just educational things and opportunities there.
It's a bunch of rich people with a lot of money who have the same damn problems as the little people who have no money.
I don't know that I would consider them rich.
Successful, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Successful business entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Who have made it in the world of entrepreneurness.
They're well established.
Yeah. And it's those are the people you want to be surrounded with. Because if you're not surrounded by those people, well, then look at your life.
Yeah.
Because my mind just went to so many different places. So ironically, when I moved in, we've talked about it before, but I can narrow it down here. When I moved into this house with your father, I started my creative endeavor, and that's really when my life started to pick up steam, and I started to change my life, and then I got a girlfriend, and then I moved out of here, and then, whatever. The main thing is that I started music here, and I went from nothing to now I've been recording with people, and, I'm a success. I got my first $15.
Nice.
So I'm a
paid
successful
artist.
Paid professional producer.
Nice.
What's up? That's that's gonna be the name of the fucking record company. $15. $15. No, lately I've been thinking about. Oh God, my mind's everywhere. And so ironically, you moved back here, and you're now starting your own creative adventures. You've been writing a lot. You've ever since you moved back here, you've been writing a lot. This year, you said you haven't been doing much, but it's the beginning of the year. You're dealing with chaos. You got to go through it, And I love that. I love that this home has something special, and it's a joke between me, you, and your father that, it's like a joke. And your dad told us a story on why he bought this house. This house was built in the 1950s, and it has an old cabinet in the wall where you open up the door and a wooden ironing board comes out. And he said he bought this house because of that, and because it told him what this house represents. Just a working class an old time working class home. And so that's amazing. And so, you know, we all correlate that with like this house has a power, and it's lovely. It's lovely to see you go through your creativeness stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, by the end of the year and where you're going to be at with everything, where we're going to be at with everything, because here we are starting a podcast. So,
Right. I know I did.
well, we already started it. Here we are continuing a podcast.
I didn't expect, like, I know that we had like casually mentioned podcasting over the years, but this time last year, I couldn't have imagined like sitting here weekly actually recording one.
I just told Kaylee the other day, that my girlfriend Kaylee, that I will do anything to keep this podcast going. Like I don't want to take, like I'll quit everything and have nothing in the bank, and I'll still, like, this is what I want to work the most.
We don't need to get that far.
Here we are. I'm dropping it all. I'm living in my car, dropping the girlfriend, dropping the dogs, everything. I'm leaving. We're starting a podcast. No, but really, like, I love this. I love the idea of sitting down, and, you know, I joke with my friends that this is like I guess I'm the comedic relief, and, you know, you're the more intellectual one. So it works out great, and I'm happy it's 2022. I've just had 2021 and 20, I think, were burner years for everybody. But like 2021, I think, was a tough year for me, just mentally. Meaning I put myself through a lot of mental problems. I put myself through a lot of physical problems, but mentally I was able to deal with those things. It was very hard, but, you know, then this year started coming around, the holidays came around, and I just feel like I've finally crawled out of that hole that I've just been in, a lull, as I call them. And it's been a good feelings, just good feelings every day.
Good.
I'm able to get up every day and smile. That's all that matters. So.
Yeah, coming into the new year, I was in very heavy energy, just from traveling and being, you know, around people that, like, I have established, like, relationships with, and I hadn't been around them for over 6 months, and then re-entering those relationships as a different person, quite honestly. And some of them were different as well. But because I've been working so hard at, like, changing for my betterment, I feel like I feel a lot more different than I was.
Like, do you feel like a sense of relief, or do you think you have, like, outside looking in, our fist is the size of the earth, and then you're up here, my hand's above the earth of my fist, and it's like, it's like that what this represents, kind of like you're able to, like, kind of look down on, like, the scenarios and the perspective of what you were in?
Yes and no. So I noticed myself having a lot of anxiety leading up to traveling. And part of that was trying to decide, like, I had limited time. I couldn't see everybody. And the people pleaser in me wanted to see everyone. I found myself running ragged trying to do that, even though ahead of time I knew that was going to be a problem, and I tried to use all my regulation techniques to stop that from happening and drawing boundaries lovingly. I feel like boundaries recently have gotten this very aggressive, like, connotation where people are very, like, you know, cut them off, like, and I don't feel that that's appropriate for boundaries. There are times where that's really necessary, but boundaries are meant to create a space for self-respect and love. And if you can also offer that to the other party in that boundary, I think it's important. It should be something that's helping both people.
Yeah.
And so There were a few people that like I could see very temporarily, but not as often. And I was able to spend a little bit of time with them, but I made it clear that like this trip was very focused on, making sure Tommy could see his friends
And family.
and have the best experience for him. Because that was the whole point of the trip.
Shout out to the Temps. Thanks for listening. We love you.
And there were some people that like I really wanted to spend time with, but because they're newer in my life, I didn't feel like I could like blow off some of my older friends in order to see these people.
Priorities. You had priorities, and there's people you needed to prioritize. And I mean, what I hear from this is like how much of an impact you had on a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that is like, that's your superpower. Like, that's part of your superpower, right?
I've been very lucky to have a lot of close and deep connections and loving relationships. And, part of that is very much a part of my personality. I tend to go deep very quickly.
Superpower.
I don't swim at surface level. Like, I just don't.
You're like swimming in the deep end.
I try sometimes, but it's
she
hard.
She took the swimmies off and she said, fuck it, jumping in.
Yeah. And sometimes it makes interaction difficult because I'm over here like ready to hit the ocean floor and other people are like, I haven't even put my foot in the water yet. Can you please
So it's essentially, it's just like, you take action in your life to better yourself, to put yourself into a good mindset, to just become a better person. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who are complacent don't do that, or they don't think about it, or they hear about it, but they turned off to it and they have a negative idea towards it, and that's sad.
And there's some people who are not even aware of it as a concept.
That's a big one.
Who
that's
are
huge.
Just out there, doing their best to survive. And there's no time or energy to even be exposed to the idea, never mind investigate it.
There's a lady at work believes COVID's not real. I tested positive, girlfriend tested negative. She still thinks it's just a flu. Whatever. She sent me this video on Telegram that is, shout out Deb. Sorry if you're listening. You're a great person. But she sent me this video of like, just like, in my eyes, it seems like conspiracy theory that there's a camera on the White House at all times. And like, and part of me is like, wow, this is like, I gotta send you the video. But anyways, it's a 10-minute video of this, of like, there's a black SUV out in front of the, in the White House, and it looks like he has a trunk open and he has like a little box in front of him. And like, if you look at the camera, there starts to like be like this flickering happens. This flickering light happens in each room. There's like 8 or 9 windows across the top of the White House. And each room is like, it looks like a scanning. It looks like it was like scanning the whole entire room. This, whatever this was. Anyways, this video got 143,000 likes, and the video was titled like "The Demolition to the White House." I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what that means. And like, I try to watch it and I listen to it, and it's just like, there's groups of people out there who believe these things from these cultish leaders who are not, I don't want to say they're telling their truth and they're seeing their truth through their eyes. But like, then again, it's like, they're not opening themselves to a bigger idea. They're not opening themselves to wanting to grow more, to wanting to get out of their current situation, to become better or worse. Whatever, everybody's different. But, my point is that there's 143,000 people out there who watch this video and who are now like, oh my God, this White House is fake. The White House is a hologram. So like, who knows? There's been a lot of conspiracy stuff out there that ended up becoming true, And so it's very, very wacky. But to bring it back around.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories are strange in and of themselves. And
deep thinking.
The history behind them is really interesting as well. And like how they became labeled as conspiracy theories and the actual definition of conspiracy. And like, I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes, like a lot of them.
And sometimes they're fun. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's just the idea of just how deep people go with this.
I really did enjoy them, like entertainment wise, for a long time. But I was talking to someone recently who kind of gave me a new perspective, and they were sharing with me how conspiracy theories like ruined like the lives of their like a friend, and I've definitely like I could relate to the story because like I've dealt with pretty severe mental health issues, things where like reality is warped. And it gets to a point where it's so obvious that that's what's happening, but you can't control it.
You're in a bubble.
Mm-hmm. And like for anyone who has any type of like genetic predisposition to things like schizophrenia or any other type of like psychosis, it can be really detrimental.
I'm starting to believe this conspiracy of mass cytosis. Is that what it's called?
Mass psychosis?
Psychosis. I mean, it's just like, that's like our society, is that we've been controlled by people in power for so long that us discovering like, oh, we've been getting controlled by power for so long that it's just inevitable and we can't control that anymore.
Well, let me ask you this.
This is turning into conspiracies.
Do you know a single person who has their shit completely together?
Yeah, but like they're assholes.
Are you close enough to them to
Not
see
anymore.
every aspect of their life?
Not anymore.
Because that's the other thing. The definition of have your shit together is abstract in and of itself. And I guess what I'm saying is like you can have like, your 401k, your taxes, that kind of adulting stuff together. That's one thing. But to have that together and also have like the emotional intelligence and the empathy and the neuroregulation and those things, the most successful people I know still regularly and pretty drastically struggle with those things.
Shout out to Chris.
Mm-hmm. It's a process, a never-ending process. And you, like, the thing with some of the conspiracy theories, especially around, like, mass groups of people who are plotting against the world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but no human being has their shit enough together to work in a group like that and nefariously like plot against the world. Like,
Flat
if
Earthers.
the military leaks information, a group like that would have leaks. Like, there's just, it's not practical.
It's people grabbing on to an idea that makes sense to them and being part of a community that makes them feel welcomed. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people aren't welcomed. A lot of people in small towns they don't know how to leave that town. They don't know how to get out of their bubble because they've never, a lot of it is just they've never experienced it outside. That's just the that's the issue with our world is that we're so divided in so many different ways.
It comes back to like this lack of balance.
Sure.
We have a lot of externalization and a lot of external seeking in our nature. And yet we also isolate, but we're not doing we need both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the ways that we learn growing up and the ways that we cope have us functioning externally in the least healthy way possible and functioning internally in the least healthy way possible. So take the beginning of my year, for instance. I came back from the trip and like for my nervous system, I was so done. Part of it was the masking, part of it was the traveling, but like I came back, went completely nonverbal. Like didn't want to talk to anyone, didn't want to speak at all. I spent 3 days in complete silence.
Even to me, she didn't call me back. She didn't get my text
I didn't
messages.
speak a single word out loud, not even to Suki.
Poor Sook. That's the cat.
But like my nervous system needed that. It had to shut that function down in order to do the repair because
That reminds me of like an ayahuasca trip or like a mushroom trip or a DMT trip. It's like, I mean, when you take drugs like that, it happens very quickly and it puts you into that place of fear and that place of like being beat the fuck up. And then with drugs, you come up very quickly and like you go through the motions. And so, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to just get that out.
It's a cool concept. Like I like that perspective. It's kind of like going through that process, but without the chemicals.
Right. It's just kind of dragged out longer. But that's where the true superpower in you comes out because you're able to get up as long as you're getting up every day and as long as you're continuing to breathe, you're constantly biting at the bit, trying to figure out what it is. And when you do figure it out, you realize that, oh, that was nothing, which is what happens when you take DMT or mushrooms or anything like that. You're like, oh, so that's the problem.
You gain perspective.
Right, perspective.
And a lot of like self-development and growth comes from looking for perspectives, looking for new perspectives and honoring them and learning from them.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason that hindsight is 2020, but if you're not looking to look, if you don't have glasses on, you're driving blind.
Yep.
And the thing is, you can try different prescriptions. There's different lenses for everything. And so when I first came home, it took time to recognize why my body was in the state that it was, why my mind was in the state that it was. And with that perspective, I then was able to release judging myself for taking that space.
Yeah.
And once I was able to release the judgment, I actually came out of it. And then I was able to sort of start communicating with some people.
Yeah, not me. I'm allowed to do that just because we're creating something great here.
Yes.
No, I sent Love here a lot of messages and I continued to send them and I realized like I need to stop doing this. And then I continued to send more. But I knew what she was going through because again, it goes back to this fucking house that people can say it's a fucking stupid, but like this is like there's something special about the energy here, the idea of, your dad's good at, he's a tornado, he's a bull, but he's good at giving space, and the space here is you're able to have that space here to be with just yourself.
One of my dad's like best qualities is creating an atmosphere of hope and celebration.
All right, we can't let him hear that. Go on.
Like
JD, shout out. I know you ain't listening. You ain't get this far into the pod.
And he is extremely strong in this energy.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it's too much. Like sometimes he doesn't always recognize where and when to place that energy because he's just in it at all times.
My problem with him is that I feed into that energy more, and I just keep allowing him to just keep going and amplify it, and like I ask him more questions, and I'm just maybe.
I'm curious what your human design is. I feel like.
Whoa, me too. What is that?
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Let's go to the next pod.
Yeah.
Talk about it. I think we should wrap it up.
I think so too.
We're at 33 minutes.
It's been a great ride, and I've learned a lot.
Good.
And I do feel like I'm finally slipping into some of my routines. I kept a little bit of my routines through all of this, but not as many as I would like. But I'm trying not to judge myself for that. And it's okay because moving forward, I can just reintegrate them. It's
one last thought. You know, what was very hard for me is wrapping my head around the idea of having a schedule and like sticking to it essentially. And for most people, having a job is like helps people get into that schedule. There was a period of time for a lot of years where I was able to like. I was living my own schedule, not having to go work for the band because financially I was okay.
for sure.
But like 2021 was that year of like me kind of falling out of all of it. And like because I had to go get a new job, I'm working at this new job now. It's like it's put me back into a schedule and it's rekindled this fire in me that is like very, very fierce. And I feel a lot of fucking power coming from it. And I'm very excited for the future.
Cool.
I don't know what's coming from it, but like I have so many projects that I've worked on for years and years. My photography, my music, just anything with production. I'm starting to get into the NFT and crypto space. I have 2 NFTs, by the way. I'm very excited about them. Low-level NFTs. What's up? Come at me. I'm so excited for the future because I always felt like if I can slowly put my feet into little puddles, eventually I'm going to get to the waterhole of the true desire, the one thing that's really going to like explode all of this. And it's going to when I least expect it and what I'm going to expect that it wasn't. Like it's going to be the thing that it's like, wow, it really happened this way or, whatever. I've dreamt about it when I was younger. I continue to dream about it, like, in the real world. Like, when I say dream about it when I was younger, like, physical dreams, like, when I was sleeping at night. I remember vivid dreams about, like, where I'm at now, and I'm just so excited for the future, and I'm glad that we can continue this, and let's make this podcast the podcast of the century. I want that Nobel Prize. That's my goals. Nobel Prize. # come at me. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Spotlight. Be sure to give us a like. Be sure to subscribe too. Share with your family and friends. Thanks for listening to some Spotlight. See you on the next one.